The art of observation without evaluation. Is it possible to look at a flower without naming it, without assigning it to a category, without comparing it to another? In this lies the essence of pure observation, where the mind is free of thought, free of evaluation and judgment. I am Krishnamurti, and today I invite you to explore with me the art of observation without evaluation, a profound aspect of understanding life and the self. Imagine you are walking through a serene garden. Your eyes catch the sight of a blooming rose. You approach, you see the color, you notice the delicate petals and the way it sways gently in the breeze. Now, can you observe this rose without the word rose entering your mind? Can you experience its beauty without comparing it to past roses you have seen? It is here, in this moment of pure observation, that one may find a great silence, a great sense of being wholly in touch with what is. Observation without evaluation is not a state of indifference. It is a state of awareness that is free from the burden of judgment. When you see the rose with such clarity, you are seeing it as it is, not as you are. This is the first lesson in our exploration. The realization that our evaluations often say more about us than they do about the object of our observation. To understand this further, let's consider how we interact with people in our lives. When we meet someone new, we immediately categorize them, label them, evaluate them based on our past experiences and prejudices. But what if we could meet each person afresh, without these layers of evaluation clouding our perception? What if we could listen to them truly, without the constant chatter of our own thoughts? Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound lessons from the legend. Here, we come upon a truth that requires us to deeply consider our own conditioning. The mind is a repository of the past. It is filled with countless images that shape our thoughts and feelings. To observe without evaluation is to step out of the shadow of the past, to free the mind from these images. Consider the story of the two monks who encountered a woman at a river. One monk carried her across as she could not cross on her own, despite the order's rule against touching women. The other monk was perturbed, questioning why his companion had broken their vows. Hours later, the first monk simply said, "I left the woman at the river. Are you still carrying her?" This tale illustrates how evaluation can burden the mind long after an event has passed. Now, let us delve a little deeper. To observe without evaluation does not mean that we lose the ability to discern or to act intelligently. It means that our actions are not based on a prejudiced evaluation, but on a clear perception of what is. It is about seeing the fact and not the opinion about the fact. In my interactions with people around the world, I have often emphasized the importance of seeing clearly, of understanding the limitations of our thoughts. When one says, "I am British," or "I am Indian," what does that mean? These are labels, images that may prevent us from seeing the individual, the human being. To observe without nationalism, without cultural conditioning, is to truly meet another person. A profound question arises here. Is it possible for the mind to free itself from the known, from the labels and evaluations, and to observe purely? To explore this question is to embark upon a journey of self-discovery, for it is in the very structure of the self that we find the roots of evaluation. We must also consider the place of knowledge in observation. Knowledge is necessary. It helps us to function in the world, to do our jobs, to navigate through life. Yet, when knowledge becomes psychological, it forms a screen through which we view the world. It is this psychological knowledge that we are inquiring into, the knowledge that creates images and sustains evaluation. In observing nature, the trees, the birds, the mountains, one may come upon an intrinsic order, a harmony that exists independently of human thought. Nature does not evaluate, it simply is. In learning from nature, we can see the possibility of a mind that observes without the distortion of evaluation. My conversations with scientists, philosophers, and artists have often touched upon the theme of creativity. True creativity arises in a mind that is free to observe without the constraints of the past. An artist does not merely reproduce what he has learned. He sees something anew, and in that seeing, there is creation. But what of the everyday mind, the mind that is caught up in routine, in the problems of living? How can such a mind learn the art of observation without evaluation? It begins with awareness, with the realization that we are constantly evaluating, and with the intention to understand rather than to judge. Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound lessons from the legend. In our dialogues together, you and I have explored the nature of thought, the nature of the self. We have seen that the self is a product of thought, and thought is limited. Thought is always old, always of the past. To observe without evaluation is to see the present moment without the past's shadows. It is to perceive without the interference of memory. Consider the act of listening. When you listen to someone, do you actually hear them, or are you merely interpreting what they say based on your beliefs? To listen without evaluation is to give your complete attention, which allows for a deeper connection and understanding. This is the essence of communication. As we journey through this exploration, I would like to share an anecdote that exemplifies the significance of observation without evaluation. During my talks and discussions, individuals would often approach me with their personal troubles, seeking guidance. One thing was abundantly clear. Their problems were magnified by the layers of self-evaluation and judgment. To simply listen to them without evaluating, without offering an immediate solution, allowed for a space in which the problem could unfold and reveal its roots. It was a demonstration of the power of pure observation. As the problem was laid bare, the solution often emerged naturally. Let us turn our attention to relationships. How often do we evaluate those we are close to, shaping our interactions with them based on past experiences? To observe our loved ones without evaluation is to see them anew each day, to allow the relationship to flourish in the freshness of the present. This does not mean we become passive. It means our responses are not colored by the accumulated knowledge of past hurts and pleasures. In observing without evaluation, one also learns about the nature of love. Love is not a product of thought. It is not a result of evaluation or comparison. Love is a state of being where the self is not. It is in this state that one may truly connect with another. Now I shall share with you a profound question. Can the mind ever be free of the known? The known is the past, the accumulation of all our experiences, our hurts, our joys, our knowledge. To observe without evaluation is to step into the unknown, to see life not through the distorting lens of the past, but with the freshness of the present. In my own life, I have endeavored to approach each encounter, each experience with this freshness. Whether it was speaking to large audiences, engaging in intimate discussions, or simply walking amidst the trees, the act of pure observation has been a cornerstone of my teaching. As we reach the end of this part, I leave you with the essence of what we have discussed. To observe without evaluation is to see without the interference of the self. It is a state of pure awareness, where one is in complete communion with what is. Continue with this inquiry, and you will see that in the art of observation without evaluation lies the key to understanding not only the world around us, but also the very nature of our own minds. The mirror of relationship, seeing clearly, loving wholly. In the mirror of a relationship, Each person reflects the other. Here, we find an extraordinary opportunity for observation, for in this reflection we can see ourselves as we are. But can we look into this mirror without the distortions of evaluation? In the dynamic dance of connection with another, I have discerned that it is our evaluations, our judgments, that often lead to conflict. When you say to someone, "You are wrong," what has taken place? You have not only evaluated their actions according to your own standards, but also ceased to see them beyond that judgment. To observe without evaluation in relationships is to maintain a lens that is not clouded by the residue of past conflicts or expectations. I recall a time when I spoke with a pair of friends who were in conflict. Each held a strong opinion about the other's actions, and their discourse was mired in evaluation. I asked them, "Can you listen to each other without agreeing or disagreeing, without planning your next argument? Can you simply observe the feelings behind the words?" In that moment of attentive silence, their relationship transformed. They began to actually see and hear each other. The flame of attention, igniting self-awareness. The flame of attention burns away the unnecessary, the trivial, the superficial. It leaves only what is essential. To bring this quality of attention to our daily lives is to observe each moment without the filter of evaluation. This is a profound act of learning, for it involves direct perception, not the perception tainted by what we already know. I have often found that the deepest learning occurs when the mind is quiet. In the stillness of a mind that is truly attentive, there is a different kind of understanding that arises, one that is not dependent on knowledge or memory. This understanding is fresh, alive. It is like discovering something new each day, even in the most mundane tasks. In my dialogues with students and truth seekers, I have suggested that to understand the art of observation, one must first understand the observer. Who is the observer? Is the observer different from the observed? Or are they one and the same? This inquiry into the nature of the observer is central to self-awareness. When you observe without evaluation, you may find that the observer, the process of observation, and the observed are not separate. There is simply observation, a seamless flow of life. Freedom from the known, the uncharted landscape of the mind. To step into the uncharted landscape of the mind without the map of evaluation is to discover freedom, a freedom from the known. It is to enter a realm where learning is not an accumulation of knowledge but an ever-flowing movement. In my years of speaking and teaching, I have encountered many who seek this freedom. They come burdened with the weight of their evaluations, their judgments, their conclusions. But freedom cannot be approached through the weight of the past. It comes only when the mind sees its own limitations and steps beyond them. Freedom from the known is not an escape from reality. It is a direct engagement with reality without the interference of the past. When you observe a tree or a cloud, can you see it without naming it, without recalling all the trees and clouds you have seen before? This direct perception is the essence of freedom, the wholeness of life. Observing without the fragmentation of evaluation life is a vast, interconnected whole. When we observe with evaluation, we fragment this wholeness. We divide what is undivided. But to observe without evaluation is to perceive the wholeness of life. In my conversations with individuals from all walks of life, I have pointed to the fragmentation that arises from our evaluations. We divide life into nationalities, religions, ideologies, but these are all constructs of thought. When you observe without these constructs, you perceive life not as fragmented but as an indivisible whole. In the embrace of quietude, beyond the ceaseless chatter of thought, I find a sanctuary of profound peace. This tranquility is not a void. It is filled with the essence of pure being. Here, In the silence of the mind, one discovers a sense of unity with all that is. I have sat with the trees, felt the whisper of the wind, and watched the play of shadows and light, all without a flicker of thought to name or categorize the experience. In this space of silence, the boundaries that separate me from the world dissolve. There is no me observing the other. There is only observation, a state of communion with the moment. This quietude is not something to be achieved. It is always present, merely obscured by the noise of our inner dialogue. To enter this state is to let go of the compulsion to understand, to control, to be anything. It is to be as the newborn, seeing the world with fresh eyes. Insight is a dance, a movement between understanding and simply being. It is a rhythm that does not follow the predictable beats of accumulated knowledge, but arises spontaneously from the depths of silence. In my journey, I have come to see that insights cannot be forced. They arrive like unexpected guests, revealing themselves when the mind is open and unoccupied with its usual concerns. These moments of insight are not the products of effort. They are the blossoms of a mind that is free from the desire to achieve or become. The dance of insight is delicate. It requires a sensitivity to the present, a kind of listening with the whole being. When one is attentive in this way, insights emerge naturally, shedding light on the nature of thought, the self, and the essence of consciousness. Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound lessons from the legend. In the intricate tapestry of human connection, each thread is a relationship, woven without the need for judgment or evaluation. Here, in the interplay of relations, lies the possibility for a profound communion that transcends the superficial layers of personality and reaches into the essence of another. As I reflect on my interactions with others, I recognize that the most meaningful connections are formed when there is no barrier of judgment between us. When I meet another without preconceived notions, without the burden of past hurts or future expectations, we are free to truly encounter each other. This tapestry is not static. It is a living, breathing work of art that is constantly shifting and changing. Each encounter is a chance to add a new thread, to strengthen the weave, to contribute to the pattern that is formed by our collective presence. When insight dawns, it is like a flash of lightning illuminating the night sky, sudden, brilliant, revealing. This luminosity of insight has the power to transform, to cut through the darkness of confusion and illuminate the path before us. I have experienced such flashes of understanding, moments when the complexities of life seem to resolve into clarity. It is as though a light has been turned on inside, and everything that was obscure becomes clear. These moments are not of my making. They arise from a deep well of silence, from a mind that is free from the desire to impose order on reality. The luminosity of insight is not a personal possession. It is available to all who are willing to enter the space of stillness, to listen deeply, and to receive what is given. The symphony of silence is a harmonious blend of the inner and outer worlds. It is a music that arises not from instruments but from the very essence of life. In this symphony, there is no conductor, no soloist, no audience. There is only the music itself, the sound of existence playing through us. As I sit in silence, I perceive the symphony in the rustle of leaves, in the rhythm of my breath, in the beating of my heart. The distinction between the listener and the sound, the observer and the observed, fades away. There is a merging, a unity of life's music with the awareness that perceives it. This symphony is not a withdrawal from the world, but a deeper engagement with it. It is an acknowledgement that the true essence of life is not in the noise and clamor, but in the quiet spaces between, the stillness that holds everything together, the unfolding blossom, embracing the infinite in the finite. As I stand at the threshold of the infinite, embodied in the finite form of my existence, I perceive life as an unfolding blossom. Each petal represents the multiplicity of experiences, while the heart of the flower symbolizes the unity from which all diversity springs. In my contemplation, I have come to understand that this blossom does not unfold towards a finality, for it is in a constant state of becoming, mirroring the infinite nature of existence itself. I am both the gardener and the flower, tending to the conditions that allow for growth, while also being the very process of blooming. This recognition brings with it a profound sense of responsibility and liberation. The responsibility lies in the awareness that each thought, each action, contributes to the unfolding of this blossom. The liberation is in knowing that in each moment, I am a complete expression of life, even as I am in the process of becoming. In the loom of my consciousness, threads of time intertwine with the timeless, weaving the tapestry of eternity. As I gaze upon the intricate patterns of my life, I see that who I am is a dance of transient moments and eternal truths. The passage of time, with its joys and sorrows, gains and losses, is set against the backdrop of the timeless, a dimension where the self is both absent and omnipresent. In the quietude of deep meditation, I have touched this realm where time ceases to be a linear march, but rather a canvas upon which the moment is painted anew. In this confluence of time and the timeless, I see that my true essence is beyond the transient definitions of identity. I am the observer of time, and yet I am also beyond all observation, an integral part of the tapestry of eternity. In the journey of self-discovery, I have come to see that the light which illuminates the path within does not come from any external source. It emanates from within. This radiance is the glow of awareness, the warmth of understanding, the beacon that guides me through the layers of my being. Each step on this path is both guided by this inner light and also a deepening of it. The more I explore the terrains of my inner landscape, the more the light of self-knowledge dispels the shadows of ignorance and illusion. This radiance is not just for the journey inward. It illuminates the world around me, allowing me to see others and life itself with greater clarity and compassion. It is through the light of self-discovery that one can truly begin to understand the interconnectedness of all things. As my journey reaches a crescendo, I find myself standing before the vast ocean of wholeness, where the drop of individuality dissolves into the totality of oneness. Here, the illusion of separation is washed away by the tides of a deeper truth, the truth of unity. In this ocean, I am no longer a solitary entity, but an inseparable part of the grand tapestry of existence. My joys and sorrows, triumphs and trials are not only my own, but shared with the collective experience of all life. The realization that I am the ocean itself, not distinct from it, not merging with it, but inherently it, brings with it a profound peace. The search for belonging, the desire for understanding, the striving for meaning, all these are quenched in the knowing that I am, we are, the ocean of wholeness. As I stand upon the peak of my existential exploration, the horizon before me stretches infinitely. This is the horizon beyond the self, where the individual perspective broadens into the vastness of all existence. From this vantage point, the narratives that once defined me are seen for what they are, stories within the grander story of the universe. The roles I play, the identities I cling to, are but costumes and masks in the drama of life. Gazing into this infinite horizon, I am both humbled and exalted. humbled by the vastness that dwarfs my individual concerns, and exalted by the realization that my true nature is not confined by the limits of the self. Here, at the edge of the infinite, I understand that my journey does not end, for it is woven into the very fabric of the universe itself. As I breathe in the immensity, my heart resonates with a simple yet profound truth. I am that vastness, and in it, I am eternally home. Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound lessons from the legend.